I know I had to.
Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And I'm going to have fun today with Gabriel here. And most of you may know Gabriel in the pirate community because Gabriel does the made from scratch broadcast almost at the end of the day compared to Pirate Broadcast. We mirror each other. I do the mornings, he does the afternoons, evenings. So welcome, Gabriel. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing wonderful. It is a Friday. I am not working, so I am in great spirits today. So, well, I'm getting paid. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
That's a little bit different. That's even better.
I can relax and get paid for it. What better equation is that, right?
Exactly. And then on top of that, I get to come outside and play around in my little studio and just do fun little awesome things, like when I was showing everybody before we actually came on. So guys, check this out. I'm going to disappear. There he is. That is.
I'm here in stereo.
He's here in stereo, right? He's talking to himself.
Nice.
So, these are all the
we are a couple of nerds here in the studio, and we're going to have a blast. So it's funny because I was watching your show last night, and you had Annie-tude on, which is where the hat comes from, right? Annie-tude. And she was on the show last Friday. She was actually on the Pirate Broadcast last Friday.
Ago, yes.
Yeah, so she's a pirate. And then I had Sherry St. Marie on Monday. Exactly. She's a pirate, and we just need to swap a bunch of guests and get them on both and say, hey, you're on the golden member club because you're in made from scratch and you're a pirate.
Right. You've been the double, and that's I think there's only been one person who's done the double on the same day, and that was Russ DeSomers. He was on your show. Yeah. So
your show.
If you go back and everybody wants to cross-reference that, he was on your show that morning, and then he came on my show that evening, and that was like, and I think he's the only one that planned it that way. So he was like, hey, I'm going to be on, because I remember he goes, I'm going to be on Rush's show this day, and I don't want to have to take time off to do this again. Would you be open to having me on? And I said, well, yeah, I had reached out to you, so cool, let's do it. Yeah. And then he jumped on, and he came on your show, and then again he jumped on my show that evening. So that was one of the ones who's been both on the same day. So because we've had a lot of the same community, a lot of the same guests who come on and share the same platform. So I think I'm trying to think of who's been both. You've had Carol Campos on, right?
Yeah, Carol.
Lori's been on.
Yeah. We're gonna have to go down the list.
We're gonna have to go down the list. There's so many. Vicky
O'Neill.
Yes, she's been on. She's been on both, and then gosh, there's so many. And here just trying to draw a blank and think about it, and who's been on both. So, but that's the fun thing. A lot of the Wendy's one of them.
Yeah,
so,
Wendy.
Both Wendy's actually.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Two of my favorite pirates.
So, yes, both Wendy's have been on my show and your show, and Amy Blashka. She's been.
Yeah, Amy's been on.
She's been. There's been so many.
Do you know Dawn?
No, Dawn.
Dawn, good morning. Happy Friday.
So, but here's the fun part about all this, right? You see, you start seeing a lot of the community we're part of start expanding out into their own. And before you know it, Slat Tag Designs. Oh,
That's Sherry Lolly.
Shirley, yes. She is huge. Huge. I'm a huge fan of hers. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's very active. And Angie, she's Good Morning Pirate. She's always around.
Yes, Angie's always
I'm doing this in the I'm streaming live to LinkedIn. Okay, apparently. So
well, that's
another. You know, we were talking about that just the other day, and it's like sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Because it doesn't, and it's the whole thing about doing a live stream. Like even like yesterday morning, right? This is the thing about doing live streams. You get what you get, and you don't have to go back and do all these.
You get what you get, and you don't pitch a fit.
Yeah. So like yesterday, she was having a problem. Sharon was having a problem coming on the show yesterday.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out, I guess, what was it? The audio? She was having a problem.
Yeah, she couldn't hear. And well, earlier on her computer, it just wouldn't allow her to connect. It was like it kept spinning and spinning and spinning. And I think she probably had, maybe limited memory or caching or something. I don't know what it was, but then she grabbed her husband's computer, Harry, and but he had his volume turned down. And so she couldn't hear. And then he had to come in and turn her volume up. But that's and I don't sweat that kind of stuff. I know you don't either. And, it's just like, hey, we're having a show. We're doing things. We're having fun. And you go with the flow. And that's kind of what the theme of 2020 is about. Resiliency. Do what you can with what you have and make the best of what the situation is. And I think so many people are learning that lesson, that are forced to learn that lesson. It's not comfortable, but it's a good lesson. It's a good lesson to have. So.
Yeah, that's one of the ones we learned about last night. When we were talking about was like just going over talking about living in a new normal. Kenyatta Turner, thank you so much. She's awesome.
Yeah,
I love Kenyatta.
Sherry Lolly says. Link was sent today from Lori.
Lori, yeah. So what I've been doing is sending her. I've been sending her a link because she has problems for some reason, jumping in into the stream. So I've been sending her every time I get in there. As soon as I get in, I send her a link. So she's been hopping in. But I guess today, since I was actually part of the interview.
It's not your link to send, huh?
It's not my exactly. So but that's what the community does. We help each other out. Just like Lori sent her.
There's Vicky O'Neill.
Yeah. So yeah.
Sherry's here too.
You know what's so fun is that exactly right.
We're gonna game without the facial hair.
I was waiting for somebody to say
that.
What's
the story behind that, Gabe? Let's dive into that because that's I was going to mention that last night on the show, and
so here's the thing, right? I was I always like to just whenever I change things up, I like to just go full commit to whatever I'm going to do for in that moment. So I was literally just sitting in the barber chair, and the guy goes, "Hey, do you want me to?" How do you want to get your haircut? I give my hair how I want it done. And then he kind of explains to me, hey, you want me to shave down your sideburns a little bit? Said, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and start. So he starts cutting it down, and then he shows me in the mirror, and he goes, hey, what do you think? And I said, you know what? Shave it all off, all of it, when it's all gone. And he just looks at me for a minute and goes, what?
What?
Yeah, he goes, what? I go, I want all of it. Cut it all off. Can you cut it all off? And he goes, sure. So he goes, process. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you what. It felt weird.
Yeah.
I'm touching myself. I go, God, dog.
I haven't my face for a while.
Because you're not used. You get used to it after a while, and it just becomes a part of everyday life, and you don't even realize how much until it's gone, and you go, "Wow!" I mean, for the first day, that's what I was literally doing, was just touching my face and going, "Oh my gosh, I forgot. I have a face on the bottom half of my hand there." So, yeah. So
did your wife freak out when you got home?
Yes. She goes, what is she tells me, oh my gosh, she goes, what did you do first of all? And then she tells me, you look so weird. Everybody did. All my kids. I got
How
4 kids.
How long have you had a beard?
Oh, since last year. For
Been a
almost
while.
it's almost a year and a half. I've had it like that. So it's been a while since I've just been nothing.
Yeah.
So to just go ahead and go, yeah, cut it all off, get it all done. That was a whole big. That was a whole big shock. But it's just weird to see people like that. I know this because my real briefly, my employer, my supervisor, he has a long beard like you. He'd grown it long for years, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, when COVID-19 hit, they kind of told him, hey, if you're going to be wearing a mask, you're probably going to have to
Fold up your hair.
Some of it, or cut some of it off, right?
Yeah.
Just to a certain length. So he did the same thing. He went all the way off. Oh my gosh. I had never seen him. I mean, I'd been there for almost 2 years, and I'd never seen him without it. So that is like big time shock value when you see somebody go, holy crap, who is that person, and where's my you just get this shock about you, and even now it takes you getting used to looking in the mirror at myself sometimes and still going, okay, this is
yeah, you go in and you're like looking in the mirror, right on you, going, oh, who's this alien?
Who's this guy? So
yeah, I had my beard for over maybe 6 years now.
Ooh.
It would be crazy to shave it off now. So
exactly right. And the only time I've seen guys who've really committed that much, who've had their beards for so long, it's like if they have surgery or something, where they have to do some kind of surgery around, or where they've had to shave it all off or shave part of it. That's kind of shocking as well, because I mean, for example, I'll just my one of my mentors a long time ago, he I know it's kind of a little bit of a sad story, but he had cancer. But I mean, he'd had a beard for over 20 years, Russ.
Wow.
I mean, it was so kind of imagine like what Santa Claus looks like with his beard. That's what he did on the side as well during Christmas time was Santa. So he had this huge, long, thick, lush beard, and then he contracted cancer, and he had to go through the radiation, and you know what that does. So,
lost hair.
Oh my gosh, it was so shocking to see him. Without facial hair.
Your friend.
It is. You're going. You feel like you've been robbed or something. Like something.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding.
So that's a whole different thing about it. But that's again, it was just a fun thing to do, to go say, you know what, I'm going to try it out. You can always grow it back.
Yeah, you can always grow it back. It's nice.
It's nice.
Exactly. Summertime, you got a couple of months. You can chill out, and everything else goes along with it.
Well, you know about the heat, so that's why part of that was like, you know what, maybe I'd made the right decision, because again, it gets hot in Arizona, right?
Oh yeah.
It gets hot here where I'm at, Texas. So literally,
Texas gets warm.
It gets a little bit. You've been down in Houston, so it gets a little bit warm, and then on top of that, what kills it is the humidity on top of it, where it just feels insanely like walking into a sauna every day. And going, oh God, do I really want hair? Do I really want to sweat?
Do I want hair? Well, for the time being, Gabriel, I am going to keep my beard. I'm going to maintain it so far, and I'm just going to continue to go. The worst experience I had is I had kind of a nice handlebar going, and I went in and I asked them to trim my mustache across my lip, and they cut my handlebar off.
Oh my gosh!
Like, I didn't request that. However, I guess I'll go with it. I've never brought it back, so it's okay.
have you ever? Let me ask you this: have you ever got it caught in anything? Like for example, like putting on a button shirt or something.
No. However, I have had like one beard hair in my mouth when I'm eating or something like that.
No, I've had that.
It's like,
what is that? Well, you start thinking, you go, oh man, there's a hair in my food.
Yeah,
and then you pull it out,
my hair.
You pull it out and it's your own. You're like, oh gosh. I've had that as well, where you're sitting there eating, you just, that's not, what is that?
Yeah.
And you pull it out and you go, oh, that's my own freaking hair. That's part. But it's part of this life. It's life. It's a fun thing, and that's what we're talking about, right? The adjustments of life and how everybody's had to kind of
make some adjustments.
I mean, everybody that I know. I mean, here we are. For us, here's been the wonderful part about it, Russ. Live streaming and video has become such a huge thing to start seeing explode. I don't think it would have got to this level as quickly as it did if we had not if something like this had not happened.
Well, I started this before. Well, we both started this
before, but here's what I mean is so many different things have been added to or have been opened up because there's.
I think it's enhanced the ability and the opportunity for people to connect.
Yes, definitely.
Because they have the time and they're looking for the connection, right? I mean, realistically, if you're not going to the office and you're not receiving, kind of some interaction, after a while you get kind of stir crazy and saying, well, it's like Mike was saying, I'm talking to my 3-year-old. It's like there has to be something in your life that is going to connect and continue the conversation with people that you are, willing to have a conversation with. And live streaming allows that to take place. And I admire the fact that you do an hour that allows the conversation to develop a little further.
Yeah.
A lot of what I do is I get in, we have a great time, have a great conversation. Hopefully it's valuable for the community, brings a little, kindness and warmth to the day, and sets people off on a positive direction. That's my intention. So hopefully that works. And, it's like Russ Hedge here says, good morning, Russ. Thanks for always delivering such great guests with great information.
Yes.
And that's appreciated, So, and then Howard here, do you both think people have adjusted to the new normal and they're more optimistic or pessimistic about the rest of the year? Riff on that a little bit, because I had my thoughts and I want to hear yours.
Well, I think a lot of people are a little bit more.
Great question, Howard.
I think people are a little bit more optimistic now because they've become. We've had time to adjust, right? So, when in the first few months, everybody was a little bit more on edge. Information was still scarce. A lot of things were still formulating as we were having these kind of conversations and that sort of thing. I think people now have, again, adjusted to it. So people know how to now remotely work, where at the beginning of this thing, it was tough for a lot of people. A lot of people had to learn how to operate Zoom. A lot of people had to learn what a streaming camera was. People had to learn how to connect audio, all these things that they weren't used to doing, or probably wouldn't have had to mess with.
Yeah.
Now they've had to go out there and learn how to do it. So people are more adjusted, people learning a little bit more skills. So as we go along, people are getting more open to, hey, this is the reality that we live in right now. So I think every new advancement or every little thing that happens, I think people are a little bit more optimistic about, where we're heading, where we're going, even though it's uncomfortable and we're in times of uncertainty. And we still have here's the biggest thing about all this. I've told everybody, we still have an election this year. So these are usually just big years anyway, because you're choosing who's going to run the country for the next 4 years. But now you're doing it in this time of trying to figure out life in this what we call the new normal. And even now, schools are about to start opening up again. They're going to start doing they're doing early testing on a lot of vaccines. And just listening to a lot of what people are saying, at least there's a little bit of there's that glimmering, shining hope that we have that, hopefully sometime within the next year, all this will just be a memory. Because again, they're shooting for vaccines by the end of the year. That means hopefully by this time next year, we have a little bit more grip and handle of what we're dealing with. And this we'll look back on this kind of as one of the huge, big things that we didn't know how to expect, but we learned a lot from. So it was kind of like a big thing going forward when people started talking about, for example, back in 1999 when 2000 was coming, Y2K, everybody was
everybody's freaking out,
going, oh, what is going to happen? What is, this is on a huger scale, of course, but again, we look back on it and go, okay, it was actually not that big of a deal. So when we look back on this, we'll see, yes, it is a huge deal because people have lost lives, but it won't be the thing that I think what it'll do is it'll prepare us for the next whatever comes, whatever. I think that's what it's taught a lot of people. It's just perspective on, hey, I think
the optimism, I think a lot of the optimism that people have right now is that, hey, I've made it this far. I can make it the rest of the way. I've learned how to work remotely. I've adjusted. I've had my workspace, reclassified from my kitchen and my living room to my second bedroom or my den or the garage or the shop. And the idea that you've already gone through the transition and the change and being resilient is really important to a lot of people when they look back. It's not comfortable when you're looking at it face to face. It's more like I've survived this, so I can survive anything else, right?
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of fatigue. I think there's a lot of fatigue taking place where people are saying, how long is this thing going to last? And think of it this way. Think of it this way, Gabe, what happens if this lasts for another 5 years? I mean, if this lasts for another 5 years, the resilience and the change and everything that goes on with it, because the Spanish flu, how long did that last?
Yeah.
It lasted a few years. And so setting those expectations on and focusing in and around the resiliency piece and the staying positive and how to adjust to the change today like we're going to be around for a while, I think is the best approach that we can all take. And, going cautiously and also going out there, I'm caring for my mom. If she came down with COVID, that would be tragic for her. And so we have to protect those around us, and we have to protect our environment, our work, and everything that goes along with it. So I think there's a certain level of resiliency that has to be included in our lifestyle now that didn't exist before.
Yeah. So. Oh yeah, huge. It's and that's the whole thing about it is the fact that I've always told people it's good to be optimistic. It is. Because that's what we live on. If people can't have hope, we're in trouble. So, but I always tell them, you also got to take things with a little bit of grain of salt whenever they tell you stuff, especially inside of the media and anything that you watch on TV. So, people were.
I don't believe half what they say, and I know they're lying about the other half.
Right. If their mouths are moving, right? If their mouths are moving, right? There's there's some semblance of truth in what they're saying, and a lot of these companies that are really pushing fast to find vaccines. It's been shocking to hear, like, it's good to hear that they're working that fast, but it's also kind of, I'm kind of weary about some of it, because when I hear the experts talk about creating vaccines and doing these things, most of them say it takes anywhere from, the fastest they've gone from inception to creation to testing to mass producing was 4 years.
Yeah.
And that was, figuring out how to do everything. And only thing is, yes, we've had a bit of they're luckily that they've had a bit of an advanced testing on something like this.
Yeah.
Because of what happened with SARS a couple years back.
Sure.
Since it is considered a coronavirus as well, but still, there's still not a permanent vaccine for it, and neither is this one here. So I tell everybody, look, if you're thinking that from something that happened in beginning of January, by December we're going to have a quote unquote all encompassing vaccine, man, I'm just very wary about that, because again, you're talking about something. It's not like.
Are you skeptical? I hear skeptic. I hear. I don't know that it can be done. I would like to believe that it could be done, and I would like to have the hope that it could be done. I'm not a huge fan of vaccines, though, and I'm not an advocate for taking additional drugs to counteract. And also, I think that there's a lot of controversy around the fact that I continue to hear stories about that there's other strains or modifications of the primary, strain of virus that's out there, and I don't know if they have enough information about the virus to know and understand to stay ahead of a vaccine or the virus, stay ahead of the vaccine or the virus with a vaccine.
So. Oh, and I'm with you there as well. That's why I say, people, please take it with a grain of salt, man. You're going to see it and you're going to go, oh, okay, cool. Vaccines here. Everything's saved. We're good. Right. I'm just one of those to say, man, you got to be cautious in doing that, because one of the parts that's really scary is the FDA is fast tracking a lot of these. A lot of these tests because of what's going on and again, just as much as uncertainty that we know about the disease, how are they going to figure it out and have a way for us to go, here we go, we just have it. The vaccine, guys, it's going to work. So
pirates make adjusting the sails look like norm.
Well, we do, folks. But here's the thing, right, Russ? Both of us have adjusted very well. I think both of us have kind of, in our own ways, have kind of taken the bull by the horns when all this took off, and just seeing again how much we've probably grown as people. Our shows, our communities have grown because we've had the opportunity to people now who were at the very beginning stuck at home. They were looking for content. They find us. They go, I love the conversations. I love all this stuff here, and it just has a different approach now. Where I think live streaming again has become a bigger. It accelerated the growth of live streaming, as opposed to, I think it would have. I mean, it would eventually would have got here, but not to this point because of so many things. Now there's people out there now who do who do live streams now who know what streaming in 1080p is, what learning and all this stuff is here that they never would have had to, or they never would have thought to make that jump, because it is what it's something that they have to deal with now.
Absolutely.
People are learning again. They get interested in learning about this stuff from Zoom and learning how to do all these other things, and they start messing around with the functionalities of it, and they go, this stuff is pretty cool. So there's a lot of people who've stepped out of their own comfort zones and are doing these sort of things now because of what has happened and what's forced us to. And I'm still hopeful that there's so much still going on now. I mean, you've kind of experienced it. Well, you were setting stuff up here, but I think it's kind of accelerated across the growth as well of what you were doing with the Pirate Syndicate, because now people want to get into live streaming. They see its potential. They go, hey,
I believe that if a company is not involved in some way, shape, or form of creating content, they're not participating and they're not promoting their business. In addition to that, I think one of the more effective ways and efficient ways of creating content is to create video, because I mean, you see what we're doing, you see what where it's at, and it's easy to take this content and then create additional content from it. Turning on the camera and creating content is a great way to share your ideas and share your thoughts and what you have going on. And that's why the Pirate Syndicate to me is such a passionate project, is there's a lot of people out there that are still overwhelmed by the technology. Not everybody's a nerd like you and I and wants to figure it out and, play with this stuff. Some of us like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to know what to do. I just want to get it. I just want the results. I don't want to deal with the process.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, so it's not for everyone. However, it's there for the ones that need it.
Exactly. And again, you're learning about this as well. So am I. This is what has becoming a buzzword here in the communities like what we operate in. People go, what is remote producing? What does that mean?
Yeah.
And you start seeing more and more people. That's essentially us doing what we do now, but for other people. Imagine what we do and what we create, and we go out and create it for somebody else.
Yeah.
Go out there and do these sort of things. And again, you see the results that we do. But here's the magic part. Here's the part people need to understand. And this is the lesson that I've learned. And this is one of the things you first told me was, remember, you got to be consistent.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good the technology you have. It doesn't matter who you have setting stuff up for you. It doesn't matter all that. If you're not consistent with what you do, it's gonna be even more difficult to build any kind of traction, to build any kind of following, to build whatever you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
Be consistent with what you do, man. That's the biggest thing that I've seen out of all of this.
Well, and a lot of people imagine, because podcasting is so big right now, and I started out in podcasting, and a lot of people imagine that they're going to start a podcast and they're going to get a sponsor and start making a lot of money. And it's a long game. It's a long game, and you have to be on for the ride, because you get pod fade. You get people that have 7, 10, 12 episodes, and then they just say, well, nobody's watching. Well, people are watching, just not as, not 1,000 or 10,000 people are watching. And it takes time to build up an audience. It takes time to build a community. It's like you don't go to a networking group and make 1,000 friends one night. Same thing. It's life. It's the process of life. And unless you enjoy it, unless you want to and have a goal with it, it's like it becomes work. And if it becomes work, then what's the goal here? It's like, so you have to have the right mindset, and you have to be consistent, and you have to know that it's a long game, and it's for a bigger goal. If you didn't start a year ago, and if you're just starting now, and think about how you could think about where you're going to be in a year, Gabriel. How many shows are you going to put out in a year? It's quite a few shows.
Yeah.
How many conversations are you going to have in a year? It's quite a few. So,
I mean, even if you're only doing it, say, once a week, right? Somebody says, I commit to once a week. That's 52 conversations you can have in a year.
Yeah.
Okay. That is 52 ways to reach out to different people and to grow an audience and connect with so many people.
I tell people too.
Yeah.
If I ask you to be on my show and you're my target market or a possible perspective, do you think this show, if I could say, hey, can I sell you something? Or would you be on my show? What answer are you going to respond to?
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's essentially, that's like me saying, hey, you want me to just hand me my business card, or would you like to have, center stage in a quote unquote newspaper article where you're just right center front? What do you want more of?
Yeah.
I don't want the business card. I want to be front center. I want people to see and hear. And these are the things I tell people. Look, when you're done with this, and I can send you the video copy of whatever, you can slice it up. You can do whatever you want. You can embed it. You can put it on your website. You can do so many different things. You can share. You can share it with people and say, look, I was on the show and this is what we talked about. Here you go. Bam.
Yeah. Builds authority, builds visibility.
Exactly. I mean, there's people who build it all the time. That's what Anna Sabinos does. I mean, she doesn't have her own show, but she builds authority by going on other people's shows and showing people how to do it. So that's huge.
There's so many ways that you can do that. And all you have to do is have a little bit of time and creativity to imagine what your business can do, especially in this time, where we're kind of restricted on what we can do for public attractions. There's a lot of businesses that are not going to an expo. They're not being involved or engaged at a conference. They're not doing a lot of things like they would normally. And so I just really think that it's important for us to get creative and do this. So Wendy said, let's show what Wendy said. Henry Ford said, allegedly, if I asked people what they wanted, they'd ask for more horses. And I think the statement was they would want faster horses. So it's like, it's one of those things that we have. I started weekly lives in my business private Facebook group for the psychotherapists.
Yeah.
Your show inspires me to do it and to understand it's okay to have technical issues and still carry
okay.
It is absolutely okay. And so Wendy responded, we know we can adapt things we didn't think were possible.
Yes.
That's absolute. At this point, it's not the new normal. It's just normal. And I think more than that, I think we just have to appreciate every day. Wake up with gratitude, appreciate the things you have right now, stay in the moment, don't project, don't future trip, don't anchor yourself to the past, let it go, learn from the lessons, and take what you have and keep going. You caught that great quote. Thank you for highlighting it for us. Thank you so much, Wendy, for being here.
Yes.
And Wendy,
these are such wonderful people that are sitting here operating.
Yeah.
And again, guys, this is what I mean when I say this is what grows your community. All these people here.
Should I block this guy?
Yeah, you should block him. I don't know who he is. Look at the face. That's already kind of telltale sign.
You're gonna have to update your profile picture.
So here's the thing, right? Building that community and having all these people, these are real people. Out of all these people that I've had on here, I've had conversations with each. You develop friends. You develop more than just acquaintances and people that you connect with. Some of these people you build really strong relationships with.
Yeah.
So much so that they become friends. I mean, we literally can have conversations.
Here's the deal. I don't think we're not selling anything on this show. It's not like QVS, where we're selling. Hey, look, you can buy my cup, but you don't have to buy my cup.
or you could buy a shirt, right? It says,
kindness is cool.
Or you could buy a
Gabe,
shirt.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. I really appreciate the fact that you brought that to the program today. So that makes my day, man. Well, it's like, okay, party over. I'm done. So.
That's how you support people who do these shows. Okay, go to their websites, go to their stores, go buy these things. So I don't have to sit here and push products and stuff like this to try to make this happen. But hey, I do have merch. You want a coffee mug? Cool. I got a shirt. Check it out. I got a hat that says Anitude. So this here, support people. I mean, here's another one. Check it out, Wendy. Right? Remember this?
Pika hat.
You support your friends and family doing these sort of things. So yes.
And like Shelley Ellinger with the
yes.
Decide to be kind act and everything. But here's the thing, Gabe, is that it takes a lot of time and effort to set this up. to get it all established and put together and in place and everything else. And there are a lot of people that do appreciate it. They do understand, and they identify with the goal and the mission and the process. They just don't. They just and they are supportive. There's so many people that are supportive, and I just think it's a gift to the world that we can share other people and highlight what they're doing. And I love highlighting people like yourself and others that I bring to the Pirate Syndicate and the Pirate Broadcast.
Yeah, if there's a product that we push, that's what we push. Is the people. That's our product.
Yeah.
And that's what we really do, is just highlight those people and have those people on and bring their stories to life, and then go out there and again, you see what starts happening. They start building communities. They go out there and start doing things, and it all comes back in full circle at some point. So yes, I think if that's one thing people say, what do you have to sell? I sell you. Yeah. So if you can come on here and talk, awesome. I'm flying.
Wendy's going to come down and hang out with me next Tuesday. So I'm looking forward to that.
That is, man.
Someone that does a layover in an airport so she can hang out with. That's what it's all about, folks. It's about this whole process. Well, Gabriel, I know that you got a busy day relaxing today, and I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to kick back and work in the studio and create some amazing things, and maybe update your profile.
Yeah, that's something I got to work on now, folks. So that is true. Got to take care of that.
It's so much fun. And everyone that joined us today, I know there's a lot of people that I didn't get a chance to bring to the table. And thank you so much. All the gratitude in the world for you being here. And as always, kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And our goal is to make you enjoy your day.
Awesome.
So thank you, Gabriel.
Anytime.
Stick around. I'll be right back.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.